are going to do rules of equality. They are a very important concept to be able to solve even the most simplest of equations. Okay, so this is an equal sign. Equal sign is a comparison operator. We already talked about operators. I will link it to the description below. Less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. These are all comparison operators. Okay, in other words, whenever you have any of these signs, you are comparing quantities. Okay, you are comparing variables, you are comparing numbers, right? And whenever you have equal sign or any comparison operator, there are two things you need to take note of. There is the left side and then the right side. We usually call this the left side of equality, and this is the right side of equality. Okay, now what this means is that whatever is on the left side, you are comparing that to the right side, and you are saying they are equal, right? They are equal. If it was greater than, whatever is on the left side, you are comparing it to whatever is on the right side, and we are saying that the left side is greater than the right side. So it is a very simple concept. Very simple concept. Let's look at the rules of equalities that we have. These rules of equality are based on the four operators. There are four operators: the addition operator, multiplication operator, division, and multiplication. Let's look at how it all plays out. These are the four rules of equality: the addition rule, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay, so very important here. The name as it is, very important. Now this says that for addition rule, to maintain equality, okay, equal numbers may be added to both sides of the equation. So for instance, let's look at it. I have 8 is equal to 8. This is rational, right? This is rational. It makes a lot of sense. To maintain equality, I can add 2 here. Because I'm adding 2, I have to also add 2 here. You get what I'm trying to say? Now this winds up as 10, and it is still equal to 10. Very simple. So let's take, for instance, I have s minus 5 is equal to 3. Now I want to find x. We're going to use the addition rule of equality. Okay, I can add 5 to both sides. Add 5 to both sides, and this will wind up as, let's add x minus 5 plus 5 will give you x, and that is equal to 3 plus 5 is 8. Let's look at x minus 10 is equal to 13. I can add 10 to both sides, and that will end up as 23. Let's look at the subtraction rule of equality. It says that to maintain equality, equal numbers may be subtracted from both sides. I have 10 is equal to 10. This is a very logical something. This 10 is equal to 10. Yes. If I subtract 7 from here and I subtract 7 from here, this will wind up as 3 is equal to 3. Right? So the rule of equality says that to maintain equality, equal numbers may be subtracted from both sides of the equation. The left side of equality and the right side of equality. Very simple. Let's look at the multiplication. The multiplication rule of equality says that to maintain equality, equal numbers may be multiplied by both sides of the equation. To maintain equality, equal numbers may be multiplied by both sides of the equation. So for instance, let's say I have 10 is equal to 10. If I multiply this by 2 and I multiply this by 2, they all wind up as 20 equals 20. Let's look at how this applies. For instance, I have a over 2 is equal to 4. Now my goal is to find the value of a, right? But this is a fraction. What do I have to do? I can decide to multiply the whole of this side, the left side of equality, by 2, and because I'm multiplying by 2, I have to also multiply this by 2, and so 2 times 1/2 a is the same as a, right? And that is 4 times 2 is 8. So you find your value for 8. Let's take, for instance, if I have x over 3 is equal to 4, then I can multiply this by 3. I can multiply this by 3, and this will give me x is equal to 12. Very simple, okay? Just as we have mentioned, addition, subtraction, and multiplication, it should be easier for you to get a division. To maintain equality, equal numbers may be divided by both sides of the equation. Yes, so example is this: 10 is equal to 10. This is rational. 10 is indeed equal to 10. If I divide this by 2 and I divide this by 2, what do I have? 5. What do I have on the right side? 5. 5 is indeed equal to 5. You understand? So this is what the division rule of property says, and this is how it plays out. Let's look at how it would help you solve your equations. Let's assume I have 2x is equal to 6. What you want here is not 2x. What you want to find is the value of x. But I know there is a coefficient, a numerical coefficient of x, which is 2. And I want to eliminate that. What do I have to do? I have to apply the division rule of equality. Divide by 2. And because I'm dividing the left side of equality by 2, I need to also divide the right side of equality by 2. And this cancels out as x equals 3. Let's say 3y is equal to 24. And this is going to be divide by 3, divide by 3, y is equal to 8. Now let's see how combining all of these rules together can help you solve simple equations. Alright, so let's look at these examples. We are going to apply all the 4 rules or properties of equality that we have studied in this particular video. Okay, so let's look at the first one. Now you would realize that we have 5n, and that is equal to 40 minus 3n, right? You understand as so far that the literal coefficient here n and the literal coefficient here is also n, so they are like terms, right? If they are like terms, it means that they can either be added or subtracted. So you want to either add or subtract, okay? And so what I want to do is that I want to first of all apply my addition property of equality by adding 3n to this side. And the goal of adding 3n to this side is to call off this particular term. So I add 3n to this side, and according to our addition property of equality, equal numbers may be added to both sides. So if I've added 3n here, I can also add 3n there. Let's add it. 5n plus 3n will give you 8n, and that is equal to 40. Right now, what I have here, I've been able to simplify my equation from 5n equals 40 minus 3n to 8n equal to 40. Now, what rule do I have to apply here? Division rule of equality. But I want to find the value of n, so I can divide by 8. And because I have divided by 8, according to the rule, I have to also divide this by 8. So now what do I have? N equals 40 over 8, and that equals 5. Very simple. Okay, let's look at this. What do I have to do first? There are a couple of like terms here. This and that are like terms. This and that are also like terms. So the goal is to be able to bring the like terms together so you can combine them. So I'm going to subtract 5 from here and also subtract 5 from there. This should give me 4u equals 5u minus 35. Okay, I have to bring 4u and 5u together because they are like terms. So I'm going to subtract 5u from both sides, 5u from both sides. Now when I do the subtraction here, I'm going to get negative u equals negative 35, right? 4 minus 5 is negative 1, and that's why we have negative u. We don't. So here again, remember I applied the subtraction rule of equality here. I also apply the subtraction rule of equality here. Now I'm have to apply the division rule of equality. So I'm going to have minus 1 divide also by minus 1, and u is equal to 35. Let's look at the last problem here. 3r plus 10 equals 2r plus 20. Okay, so first of all, our first rule, guess it right, subtraction rule of equality. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 10 from here, then I'll subtract 10 from here, then I'm going to subtract 2r from here, I'm going to subtract 2r from there. This should give me r, and this should give me 20, this should give me 10. So r equals 10. So in this video, we dealt with the properties of equality and how you can use them combined to solve simple algebraic equations or simple equations. Thank you very much.